This is a video for the Barney Rubble Syndicate. Well guys, we've ticked another box in Barney's career. He competed at his first ever FEI CCI 3-star short class, which was at Plantation FEI, not far from where we live in Pennsylvania. And Barney was electric in the dressage. Test didn't start very well with a big spook and a shy at the judge at the very beginning of our test. Obviously not the ideal way to start. It's a very sort of nervous or a high atmosphere or high energy ring, and Barney, being a very electric horse, was breathing fire. His dressage test was on Thursday. We got in there early in the morning, and I worked him quite hard in the morning, up in the warm-up, and I thought he was going to be good for the dressage, but he was definitely excited. It's a real shame, actually. We've had him going very well, and obviously he's very green at these new movements, and it's a bit tricky. You know, Barney's a very energetic animal, so trying all these fancy new movements like shoulder in and half past and counter canter, and him being a bit hot and nervous is quite the challenge. Saying that, after our first spook, he did the bulk of the test pretty well. He scored a 32.7, which honestly is for his first time at the 3-star levels not a bad result, and also considering we got a score of 32 with a number of green mistakes in the test. So I think as he sort of gets more experienced and settles down a bit, I think he'll do a very, very good dressage test. This weekend was sort of all about getting Barney just from the start line to the finishing line in all three phases. I knew he'd be a little bit nervous and inexperienced and green, obviously being his first 3-star, and I sort of said to myself, okay, even if it's not a great performance, if we can just get him through it this first time, he'll learn from it, and it'll give him a little benefit of experience in the future. You can see here he's got a wonderful canter, but I'm a little bit nervous. That's supposed to be an extended canter. I just sort of went a little bit fast. I was just trying to contain him here in the dressage. So this is Thursday. If you can see the weather there, it's absolutely beautiful. 75 degrees, sun was shining. Unfortunately, starting on Friday, the weather turned on us. Friday evening, it really got cold and wet and windy, and by the time Barney did the show jumping and cross country on Saturday, mate, it was horrible. This ring that he's in turned into a swamp, and the cross country was so muddy, and I was very, very impressed with Barney. He got through it all, and there was many horses. About half the field didn't finish. I think there was 60 horses in his class, and only 25 of them actually completed the event. So for Barney to be one of those ones is a credit to his sort of toughness and his will to compete. Definitely made it hard definitely in the show jumping and the cross country. As you can see here, like as the test went on, he actually got better and better, and I feel like he's got the capabilities of a magnificent dressage test, just because he's such a good mover and he's a flamboyant horse, and once he takes a deep breath and gets a little bit more schooled and experienced at this level, he's going to do a ripper of the test. We're going to do one more 3-star short, I think in 3 weeks' time at Morven Park, and then we'll probably leave the eventing for the year and just keep working at his dressage. But come next year, our big goal would be next spring to do a 3-star long, and by then I believe his dressage is going to be sensational. We had a good weeks of training, actually. Bettina Hoy was at the farm on Monday and Tuesday and worked really well with Barney. And then Peter Wild was here on Wednesday, had a great jump school with him as well. So we've had no shortage of world-class coaching and training. So with those mistakes, it sort of left us a little bit off the pace with the leaders, but this is 2 days later. This is the show jumping, and it was windy and wet, and we start a bit like the dressage. We started a little bit wild here. He actually had a spook at the people behind this rail, but after he clocked that one, he actually steadied up a little bit and jumped a good round. Unfortunately, with Barney's energy and the cold weather and the mud and the rain and the wind made it quite difficult to keep Barney settled, but he actually jumped quite well, and as the round went on, I felt like he got a little bit more and more relaxed. He's a very good jumper. What we've been working on with his jumping is trying to get him to drop his neck. When he gets a little bit fired up, he puts his head up quite high in the air and makes it a little bit tricky to sort of steer him and relax him. Because it doesn't look that bad on the screen, but because the ground was so wet and muddy, it was very, very hard to get a good round of jumping out of the horses. But other than a sort of dodgy start to the round, he jumped very well. And then this is a couple hours later. This is the cross country. So this is Barney's first ever 3-star short cross country, and there'd been a monsoon of rain. So I sort of said to myself, okay, if we could just take our time and get him around this course, that be a good experience, and see how windy it is there. As the course went on, he got easier and easier to ride, and there was a bit of everything in the course here. I mean, it's hard to see, but this is quite a tough coffin where it was rail, one stride to a very spooky ditch, then up the hill 2 strides to an angled hedge corner sort of thing, and he jumped that well. That caused a lot of trouble. So we're just sort of coasting along a little bit because of his greenness, and a little bit just because the ground was very, very muddy and wet. But he really gave me that 5-star feel. You can see most horses were getting a little bit tired. This is towards the end of the course, galloping up the hill, and old Barney was still pulling my arms out. So I feel like this is a great step for Barney's career. Obviously, we're at the 3-star level now. My goal for him next would be in about 3 or 4 weeks' time. There'll be another 3-star short, which will be at Morven Park, which will be another competition equal to this. And by then, I feel like we could be a little bit more competitive. In the dressage, and he should show jump better. And I mean, he loves the cross country. I mean, this was a tough line. This combination caused a lot of grief for other horses, and see Barney still flying through, and nearly jumped me out of the tack there. But he pulled up well. The ground was obviously very soft, so there wasn't too much concussion on their legs, and very proud that Barney's completed his first 3-star. And I think our next step is just to get him very consolidated on in this level before we look at moving up to the final stage of 4-star sometimes next season. But all in all, good guys, I'm very, very pleased with Barney, and feel like he'll do one more run at this level this year, and then we'll give him a good rest.